Hello gainers, I'm Ralphie and welcome to my channel called Fitter Philosophy, which is all about the practical side of philosophy that actually works in life. So it's helping to share an experience-based philosophical awareness which sort of takes away from the academic, distant, remote, obscure, occult nature, ethereal nature of academic philosophy. Having a philosophy in our lives is hugely important because it informs our life, it educates our life, it provides a moral and regular structure to our lives, which as time goes on, if we're being smart about it, we discover that it significantly enhances the quality of our journey from this reality through to the next reality. So I'm not going to get too esoterical on you now, which means I'm not going to get too kind of theoretical, you know, the reality beyond the range of our senses type thing. I'm going to focus on something much more down to earth, and it's about money, specifically the power of money. Now, I'm British, a British subject, not a citizen, a British subject. There's often confusion around that, and I come from a culture where money isn't discussed. It's not polite to discuss money, and people take considerable time, care and pains to hide what they have in terms of money, or even their attitude towards money. And the result is that you have in the British culture, by default, a financial illiteracy. And certainly when you go to school, all you're taught about money is you add up, you subtract, you divide, you multiply. You do a few basic equations like quadratic equations. You understand a little bit about geometry. Box ticked, on you go, get out into the real world and get on with it. Oh, by the way, we've got the bank coming into the school, and the banks do this. They go into schools and they show school children how to take out a credit card and how to navigate going into debt. Meanwhile, the school curriculum does not in any way teach financial prudence, managing your money, understanding what your income is, and tailoring your lifestyle to suit that income, allowing you to save a little bit for later on. This is deliberate, and because in British society it's kind of almost rude to talk about money. Money isn't talked about. The consequence is that you have increasingly, particularly a younger generation, but also an older generation, who are simply ignorant and unaware of the consequences of getting into long-term debt, which is realistically financial enslavement. But the trick of the equation is, well, people choose to get into debt. And of course people choose, because they're ignorant. They're ignorant of the power of money. Money is very hard earned by everybody. And yeah, the rich, you know, allegedly don't pay tax, allegedly have huge advantages, allegedly. When you look at things realistically, that is not quite the way that things add up. Sure, some people are enormously privileged. They're born into it, and it gives them, because of their own financial illiteracy and not realising the power or misunderstanding the power of money, they can really screw up badly. They can destroy a fortune, and that happens time and time again. But for the practical person, the based, grounded person, what you do is you take your income and say, right, this is what I can afford, and if I avoid going into debt, I will not devalue my own earnings, because when we go into debt, that's exactly what happens. We reduce the power of our money, our own personal money. Sure, it's compromised through taxation and through the expectations of what we buy, cars, processed food, holidays. But I'd like you to give you some advice. Think about the power of money. What does money actually buy you? It can buy you health, because we can educate ourselves to eat sensibly, and at a point later on when we do require emergency medical treatment, rather than waiting an infinitesimally long time on the National Health Service, if you have one, you can actually afford to pay for it. You can pay for a stitch in time, so to speak, to save 9. You can pay for some remedial surgery, which saves far more expensive and far more dangerous surgery later on, because you've got the money to afford it. You've got the money to educate ourselves, to read books, to get past the programming which we're indoctrinated with, including financial literature and ignorance. And the power of money, it buys you time, so it's buy you health and it buys you time. Because if you save up ahead, you can retire early and enjoy your wealth, enjoy the time before your health starts to break down. It also buys you power. Money buys you power. If you've got the money, you can afford to spend on certain items. You don't have to spend on the cheapest available that's a false economy and it's not going to last and it's just going to fall to bits in a few years, because that happens all the time. When you've got the money, you've got the power to buy something that's going to last, that's good quality, it costs a bit more, but it's going to last you a lifetime, and therefore becomes an economy over time in itself. So money buys you health, it buys you time, it buys you freedom. Money buys you personal power. To have enough, and you don't need such a lot, because if you're living a nice, basic, simple, practical, unintrusive life where you're not constantly consuming and being totally distracted by the white noise of pointless consumption, then you're empowered. You're empowered by your money, and the money can buy you access as well. It buys you good quality company, because if you have the self-discipline from financial prudence, it manifests itself also in the self-discipline in the way you behave in life and your outlook and your positivity to the world around you, and you attract like-minded people. And whether they have a little bit of money or a lot of money, it makes no difference. The quality of the engagement is the leveler. So there you have it. It's just a few thoughts to help you in this bright, beautiful, sunlit day. Because do you know what? It doesn't cost a penny, a cent, it doesn't cost a dime, it doesn't cost anything to actually be out in fresh air, in the sunshine, and it's always good for your health, so long as you don't overdo it. Moderation in all things, and that includes the acquisition of money. To have enough is to have a lot. To have too much is frequently a waste of your time. I'm Ralphie. Hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, click like, subscribe, all the rest of it. And we'll see you soon. We'll see you soon. This is another channel. We'll see you soon, you fitter philosophers. Bye, gainers.
Yeah.